When Nigel asked me to co-MC with this powerhouse, I was thrilled, not only because then I get to control the narrative told about him at his wedding day, but mainly because it isn't often that you have the opportunity to talk about a friend who has been around for all the major things in life. I met Nigel briefly when we were in elementary school together with Courtney and my sister. Our houses were a block apart, and it's probably a good thing we didn't stay in the same neighborhood because I don't think we would have survived growing up together. We met again in 2006, 2007, I don't know, when I started working at the Park Royal Keg in the bar while he slang steaks in the kitchen and had many appearances as the expo, which meant his actual job was to yell at people all night while still somehow flirting with us so you wouldn't want to entirely punch him in the face from all the yelling. We've danced on tables, we've turned hot tubs into cold tubs, we've won snowboarding competitions, we've been kicked out of the Royal, and also I think possibly the Roxy, definitely the Bourbon, and for sure Mosquito Creek, with a couple people here. Our families have welcomed each other into our lives so much so that it wasn't uncommon for my mom to ask if Nigel was going to be there when I was heading out at night. She felt I was safer if he was there, so this is proof of how incredibly good Nigel is at tricking parents. We've been there during all of our adult relationships, some questionable, but the most amazing thing for me has been watching Nigel fall head over heels in love. You, Melize, are his perfect match, and the two of you are an absolute joy to be around always. This day was a long time coming, but being a part of you guys getting here has been an absolute honor. Speaking of people who are an absolute joy to be around, the first official speech of the night is the guy who every single bar server, bartender, and dining room server at the Keg fought over serving when he came in. Nigel's dad was a fan favorite and always regaled us with stories of Nigel, jokes about life, and advice, so much so that all of our managers had to be strategic about whose section he sat in based on how busy they were that night, because no matter what, 1, 2, or 3 of us were going to sit down with Bill the second he walked in. It is my pleasure to introduce the father of the groom.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Would you mind doing that again? That was fantastic. I could hear that over and over again. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Jackie. Wow, what a wonderful day. And I just can't believe that we're here, actually, when you think about the dark clouds we've been living under for so long. You know, the fear and sort of apprehension. It's a miracle that we are here, really. What I'd like to do, with your indulgence, is end it there. So thank you. Not really. What I'd like to do, this may be a little eccentric, but I'd like to take a little detour from the theme and go to a different place for a while. Now, those of you who are lateral thinkers might relish it. The rest of you will probably say, God, get me a drink and get rid of this guy. Notwithstanding, here I go. Cliches are unusual expressions, and when we hear them, they go in one ear and out the other. This might be what you're saying about, me and what I'm saying. So most days I walk the West Vancouver seawall and pause at my favorite bench and gleefully eavesdrop on conversations that are around me. So I listen, I hear what people say. One lady discussing the vaccine campaign said, "There is light at the end of the tunnel." Another woman in discussion with her friends reveled in the return of social gatherings and intimacy. I heard her utter, "It is the dawning of a new day." A couple of weeks later, I overheard a gentleman expounding on geopolitics and invoking the image of the phoenix rising from the ashes to describe a post-pandemic world. So what, you say? Now to return to the theme, as I promised. Now, for all of you who are lateral thinkers, say, God, this is great stuff. And the rest of them just say, give me another drink. Are you still with me? You ask. The wedding proved to be inordinately challenging, which has already been said by many people. Nigel and Melize planned, canceled, replanned, and adapted. The expression, "there is light at the end of the tunnel," the dawning of a new day, and the phoenix rising from the ashes all apply to this wedding and its destiny. They aren't trite expressions, but righteous and meaningful once again. That we are here, as mentioned earlier, it is a miracle. And aren't we lucky? I imagine you have all surveyed the head table and looked at each individual, their faces, and their attire. Certainly thoughts and emotions have been registered. A smile was probably inevitable. Beautiful women, handsome men, what's not to like? Some might even say, boy, this is eye candy for me. What a magnificent assembly. Over the past 2 days, Kim and I have had the privilege of meeting everyone, and when we returned home each evening and discussed how impressed we were with your many accomplishments, we just couldn't stop talking, because each person here at this table is a special individual. And it's really interesting when you spend time with a person. Everybody has a story. I mean, it's a cliche, you know that, but you don't know what those stories are until you sit down and really have a meaningful discussion. Ask the right questions. Try to tease out, how they feel and what they see and their worldviews. Kim and I experienced that with a lot of people at this head table, and we'll be forever grateful. And what we're really grateful for is the fact that you all consider Nigel a friend. I do want to thank Melize and her father, Jeff, for inviting me to participate. Some might say, what the hell is this guy doing up here? This is not tradition. I mean, most fathers of the groom, they're usually sort of wallflowers. They're supposed to be seen and not heard. That's not me tonight, clearly. And the bonus for me is that I have this wonderful captive audience that I can sort of rant on to, and who doesn't like that? Oh yes, I almost forgot to thank the person who put me on first. I was getting increasingly anxious, thinking about getting up here, and also being upstaged by that talented, irrepressible, and larger-than-life character, Dan Novak. Dan, you follow me. I want you all to know that Dan is one of my very favorite people, and when I first met him as a teenager, I was immediately struck by his maturity. At a very early age, Dan worried less about the girls and the drink, quote unquote, but talked about achieving adult goals. I was stunned when I heard him talk about this. I mean, appreciate the kid's 16 or 17, right? Dan is a standout, and his life reflects it. Beautiful wife, 2 lovely children, and a home and a career. Dan, you will forever have my respect. Parenting. Parenting is an inexact science, and most of us simply make it up as we go along. Mostly we get it right, but sometimes things go sideways, and we self-flagellate. I'm a terrible mother, or I suck at this. Of course, our children grow up in spite of us, and they too make it up as they go along. Unfortunately, they often suck too. I'm not having a stroke. I'm just pausing for a second. The reason I'm pausing is I'm conflicted as to whether I should be honest or continue to be circumspect about how I feel. That is the question. Oh well, I'm among friends, and among friends that have had a couple of drinks, so it changes things a little bit. Let me say it in an unfettered fashion. I am an absolutely fantastic parent. Modesty aside, right? And I want to demonstrate my extraordinary insight and capacity for guiding my children. Some will say, this is the stupidest thing I've heard all night. Others might agree that it's an elegant elegant distillation. As Nigel and Courtney morphed from boys into men, I decided to offer 2 guidelines that, if realized, would satisfy parents and boys. Guideline 1. Remember, these are profound. Guideline 1. Aim for financial independence and self-sufficiency as soon as possible. With pride, I can report that Nigel, through exotic international travel, education, interesting summer jobs, and now with an established career, has satisfied that guideline admirably. Check. Guideline 2. Take a look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I living the life I want? When I imagine Nigel looking in his mirror and thinking about the question, I also see Melize in reflection looking lovingly at Nigel. Not long ago, after Nigel and Melize met, we had beers at a local watering hole. There I exercised parental prerogative, ask any question, because you're the parent, you can. And I asked him inquiringly, what is it about Melize? I've never forgotten his response. He looked at me with an unusual seriousness and said, she listens and makes me happy. Check. In conclusion, I want to express out loud that Kim and I couldn't be happier for Nigel and Melize. Clearly, they love each other and have many plans that might include Kim realizing a dream that she mentions ever increasingly. I am ready to be a grandmother. Thank you.
But believe it or not, I have a terrible fear of public speaking. You probably wouldn't guess it. But in truth, though, standing here before you all in front of this beautiful couple and my powerhouse, I'm definitely glad I stepped out of my comfort zone. When I first met Melize back in 2012, she welcomed me immediately as if we were friends since childhood. She was my strength in 2014 after we had been in a major car accident, and someone that I felt I could lean on many times over the year when my mom's health wasn't the best. I love you. Thank you. From our countless trips away to local get-togethers with or without our hubbies, Melize, you have always brought a caring and infectious energy to all around you. To our friends, you are a spirit child. And to those who have yet to cross your path, they will come to love you like we do. Your care for others has no boundaries, and you have a natural beauty that many would be jealous of. Nigel, hold on to her. You're a very lucky man. I'm so proud to call you my friend, and tonight you are truly shining brighter than that diamond on your finger. And for those of you who have not seen it, be sure to check it out after dinner. It's pretty big. All in all, I love you both, and I'm thrilled to be part of your special day. Melize and Nigel, may the love you've expressed to each other today always be the first thoughts during any trying times ahead. Never forget what is worth remembering and what is best forgotten. Your best days as a couple are yet to come. Love you guys. Now, without further ado, we'd like to invite Leah up here to share a few words with us.
Ting, 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 ting. You're welcome. Hi. First off, I want to. Is that? It's the speaker. Okay. I want to say thank you to the Day and Hubbard families for having us all here. What a spot for a wedding. For anyone I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, I'm Leah. I've been friends with Melize for about 15 years. Melize, you look absolutely stunning. And you're exuding sheer joy in a very calm and collected manner. You're the calmest bride I've ever seen. Nigel, we're all so lucky you came into Melize's life. You're a beauty of a human, and thank you for always treating her like a queen. Wedding days can be a whirlwind. Remember to pause for a moment with each other and take it all in. You each surround yourselves with such amazing people. It's been wonderful to get to know everyone special to you. To have been on this journey with you both, to watch your love grow, has been truly special. Each of you are immensely loving, caring, and are always there to support and uplift. Melize, our friendship is incredibly special to me. We've been there for each other for a lot of the milestones, the pillar-building moments that have helped us grow and define who we are today. I'm so honored to be a part of this day, this moment, and the ones that come after as you embark on this journey of marriage. Please join me in raising a glass to toast the newlyweds. Thank you for sharing this beautiful day, your lives, and your love with all of us. Congratulations.
I'm shaking. That was beautiful. Thank you, Leah. Awesome. That was so well said. So well said. Up next, we have the lovely and ever beautiful Kaylee coming up to say a few words. I love this. Your book is great.
Oh boy. Okay, I edited this at 12:15 yesterday when Posey finally fell asleep thanks to the people in the room next to us. So there are some last minute edits that hopefully I will breeze past. However, here we go. To the beautiful bride, my baby sister, and her handsome groom Nigel, or as you are affectionately referred to in our home, Auntie Mies and Uncle Nish. You're married! Finally! Woo! All right, let me find my spot again. Here we go. You may not know this, but your wedding is famous in a kindergarten class in Toronto, Miss Giorgio's kindergarten class. Koa has been counting down our trip to Vancouver all year online in school. So much so that I thought perhaps we might be reported to Toronto Public Health because they thought we were coming here before we were released from lockdown. So here we are, we made it, yay. And Koa was a little bit nervous yesterday, but he made it through. And the rest of this, as we know, wasn't without some other hiccups. One of them, which perhaps everyone here wasn't aware of, but Melize sent me a 35-person list for her bachelorette that we planned last year to Arizona. There was zero wiggle room, which I checked with her like 35 times when I was 10 months pregnant. Yes, I think 10 months pregnant, pretty much having my baby. And there was no give. That didn't happen thanks to COVID. But I do have a very hefty credit with Butler in the Buff. So if anyone is going to Arizona anytime soon, hit me up. Got about $500. You can have a butler or two to accompany you. It's all yours. I don't think I'll be using it anytime soon. It's true. There was a couple other hiccups. Many other people heard this story recently, but shortly after Nigel popped the question, Melize and I went for manicures, and Melize could take off her ring. I was so pregnant mine wouldn't come off, and we had our day, our girls' day. We went back to Dad's. Melize was cooking. 6 hours passed. Melize realized her beautiful ring was nowhere to be found. It was still at the manicure salon. She freaked out, as one would, and Nigel came to the rescue and scooped it up from after his golf game. He had to just wait until the golf game was over. Yeah. But they surpassed all of that and a global pandemic, a potential flood here in Pemberton, some forest fires, and we made it. We're all here, so it's perfect. And during the time it took them to get married, the Melize's bridal party has had 3 children, myself included, and there's 2 more on the way. So congrats to the glowing pregnant Maggie and Tara. And Tara, myself, and Megan have had babies in the course of the 2 years and 3 months that it took them to get married. So there we go. All right. Let's skip ahead here. I was reflecting on growing up with my sister recently, and I was thinking about how close we've always been. But we are also incredibly different, as many of you who are in our family would know. Melize runs incredibly hot, and I always have cold feet, like really cold feet, not just like nervous, just cold feet. So growing up, we would go on family vacations, and Melize would make the bed very, very... Growing up, Melize was incredibly flexible and incredibly cute. If you've ever seen baby pictures of her, she looks like a Cabbage Patch Kid, which I'm very excited to see reincarnate later. We'll talk about that when this speech goes on. So yeah, Melize was an incredibly flexible kid. She was always up for anything, and I think she was just sort of saving up the non-flexible energy for becoming a bride. Or just like towards me, her sister, the maid of honor. I would give Melize all the terrible Barbies, the ones that I'd chewed the hands of, the Ken that had like the hand that I'd been gnawing on, or ugly old Susie, and she would oblige and just be that Barbie. I would make her do tamp dance shows for everyone at the cottage. We would attach, I think it was like stomped on beer cans to our shoes and perform them for everyone at the campfire. And Melize would go along with it. The only thing that she didn't love is when my mom and I executed a trip to Quebec City. And I love museums. Melize, not so much. More her favorite thing is restaurants. So even at like 6 years old, she was like, where are we gonna have lunch and what am I gonna drink when we get there? Which is still true to this day. That is always her prerogative. But when it came to, like I said, planning this wedding, there was payback. And so there was so many emails. And like I mentioned, I was pregnant and eventually teaching. And so I had a perfect solution. I would just put all of Melize's emails into a folder that I had put on my email that was marked Melize's wedding. And I just wouldn't even look at them. I just shoved them into that folder. And, you know, when it got closer to the eventual date, I would look at it eventually. And she would call me to talk about it. I'd be like, yeah, I got it, for sure. Yeah, super. Well, that was perfect until my kids got a hold of my computer. And this is a true story. Still locked out of that laptop. They erased all of those emails, and I don't even know what happened to any of them. In fact, I had no idea where she was getting married or any of the details until we arrived here in Vancouver about 3 weeks ago. So then she printed me out a beautiful color-coded printout, and now I still didn't really know. I just kind of followed her lead. So yeah, there was my payback. So I moved out when I was 16 years old, and so I missed a little bit of our childhood together in those wild child years. But on all my visits home, I was always sort of in charge of checking in on Mies. So I do have some memories of driving down to Granville Street when my parents told me to check and see, like they thought she was dating a bouncer at one point. So I just kind of do circles of Granville Street and see if I could find Niece. I also got to chaperone some school trips for many of the people here. See a couple faces. I think actually someone here made me look for their earring for hours. I got to go to Big White with them and also down to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, where I witnessed Melize run into the Pacific Ocean and exchange her bikini with some random stranger's bottoms. And then they ran out of the ocean, took a few shots, and that was that. I tried to erase the images from my brain, but they're still there. I also watched her and Megan dance at many a discotheque, and Melize still loves many of those songs. In fact, if you've ever seen her pull up at my dad's driveway, they're blaring. All of those club tunes are still some of her favorites, I think. But Niece has reciprocated all of that love to me. I definitely remember a particular New Year's Eve where I was in rough shape. I will not go into the details because this is my speech, not hers. And she took excellent care of me. I was my own bridezilla at one point too, where my dress was caked in mud from my very wet wedding, and Melize hosed me off, blow-dried my dress with a blow dryer, and sent me back on my way. And she has come to my rescue after the birth of both of my children. She's flown over to Toronto, booked us manis, pedis, massages, and facials, and she even accompanied me for moral support, which is something I can't wait to do too for her. Right? As many of you know, Melize is the most reliable human being. In fact, she is the best texter. Right? She gets back to you immediately. So if she doesn't write you back, she's either sleeping or she's having a spa service, or you need to call the police because something is seriously wrong. But she is a far cry from my brother Evan, who doesn't return any messages. I'm somewhere in the middle, and we have a family chat, so she helps balance it out. We've been through so much together, a lot, none of that which I'm going to go into tonight. But all of that is so reassuring to me that we've made it through the most hard points, and we will continue to make it through everything, because we've made it through pretty much everything together. So we've got this, right, Niece? And now I get to talk about Nige. I remember when Melize first told me about Nige, the infamous softball game. I had a feeling he might have liked the way her butt looked in those shorts. Anywho, she had been bumbling for a while, and this seemed like a better scenario when she told me about it. So she invited Nigel for dinner at my dad's house. And if anyone knows, roast dinner at my dad's house is a very coveted place to be. So I was very skeptical for many reasons. First of all, Melize's track record is horrible. We won't talk about that, but it really is. But my dad also makes a mean Yorkshire pudding, and I don't like to share those with anybody. So when Nigel was invited, I was like, no, he can't come. And I had one baby at the time, Koa, and this was back in August 2017, I think. Emily's got her way, as she always does, so Nige came to this Sunday dinner, and Nigel won us over. He even won over my stone-faced father, brother, husband. Have you seen his stone-faced look? A little scary. And also, there he is. And Koa, who is a very, very hard sell at 2 years old. Not Koa. Nigel met all the prerequisites. He is a hockey fan, and he's a Vancouver Canucks fan, which is better than Mike, because Mike's a Leafs fan. In fact, now Nige and Mike have an ongoing bet, and $25
you owe me.
yeah, ongoing bet. Yeah. So yes, Nige passed the hockey test. I've heard he's a decent golfer, but I haven't seen it in the flesh. That was also a bonus.
A short game is deadly.
And he's apparently a good cook, which I have experienced since. But yes, the fact that he won over my 2-year-old Koa was the main draw here. And since then, another thing I've come to love about Nigel, and which truly made me realize he was the one, is that he can tolerate Melize's expression of her ex-esthetician ways. So anyone here would probably know what I'm talking about. She's a little bit like a chimpanzee mama, and she'll bring it on at any moment. So like it could be at El Giardino, it could be at the island, it could just really be at any time, and I just goes with it, which is a huge bonus for him. And he also helps my mom with her non-tech ways. So when I was in Toronto, I remember hearing that he'd come over like a knight in shining armor with a new television, because hers was from 1990 or something like that. So that was a big bonus as well. And then last week when I arrived, I heard someone ask Melize about Nige, and I just watched her as she talked about him, and it was the most beautiful thing. Her eyes welled up with tears, as they do, and they were twinkling, and her voice was breaking, and she just talked about how happy she was with him. And it was the best thing to see, because if you know my sister, you know how much she deserves this. So thank you, Nige, for being this wonderful, beautiful light and support in her world. So, as the slightly older and much wiser sister, I have one piece of advice for you too. Enjoy this moment. This moment right now, right here, with everyone in front of you at this wedding, but also this current chapter in your life, because it is so special. And I don't know where my husband went, but we look back on this brief little chapter where it was just all about us, and we're really in the weeds sometimes with the kids, as I know you will both understand from having kids of your own, working in restaurants, not children of your own. And we will just, catch each other's gaze, and we'll get it. We'll know that we'll get there. We've heard we'll get back there one day. We're not there yet. But, play crib at midnight. Go out for dinner whenever you can. I don't know. I can't even think of anything because I'm still so tired. But, drink as much as you can. Go out for those meals. Just have so much fun together in this special few months before you have those cute little Mies Cabbage Patch Kids of your own that I cannot wait to book 9 o'clock dinner reservations and then serve them chocolate ice cream and then be like, bye, have a really good night, and go back to my room and you have to put them to sleep. Yeah. But just live it up, you two, right now, because this is like the best time for you two. Okay, I got one last thing and then I will leave. Nige and Melize are very lucky humans. And in my opinion, all the luck comes to you when you're really good, beautiful people. And we both know that they're very lucky. So one story I can think of me says she was backpacking, I believe, with Jodes and some other people in Europe. She lost her wallet. Losing things is clearly a continuous thread through this speech. Someone sent it back from Barcelona with all of the content. So she's like clearly very lucky human. Nigel, it's been mentioned before, he is a big winner. So I bought you a couple early wedding presents. The rest are on their way. I've got a Lotto Max ticket, an extra, a set for life, and a jackpot. If you win, half of it is mine, obviously. I kept the receipt. I'm not stupid. And if not, you can just frame it on your wall. It's got the date of your wedding. I think that's sort of special. So let's raise a toast to love, luck, and Melize and Nigel.
I've been waiting all week for this, but it's nothing quite like getting up here and seeing everybody staring at you. This isn't part of my speech, but I asked my wife for some advice, and she said, "Don't embarrass our family." So stop. Look at her face. That's her. That's the embarrassed one. Before I get started, Melize, bridesmaids, you look beautiful. Thomas didn't have a chance to shave today. Selfish. It's the most people I've ever done a comedy routine for in person. I'll get into my speech now. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to my best man's day. Nigel, Melize, thank you for dressing up so nicely for me. I gotta admit, I'm a little bit nervous. There's a lot of pressure on the line, because Nigel says if I do a good job today, I can be best man at his next wedding too. Don't worry, I stole that from YouTube. There comes a time in everybody's life where they meet their soulmate, their one true love, the person they're going to spend the rest of their life with. That moment came for Nigel 18 years ago when he met me. I'm happy you guys are laughing, as the last 3 days I thought everybody wouldn't be as comical as I am. So I'm Daniel Novak. I'm the one who's losing his hair at a rapid pace. Been mocked and teased over the last couple days. It's my wife who's super embarrassed right now, if everyone wants to look at her. This also isn't my speech, but it's not in my speech, but the greatest thing Nigel ever did for me as a friend was convince his parents I was a good person. The nice words that Bill said about me are a complete lie. What an honor it is to be participating in this wedding with such an amazing couple, Melize and Nigel. Most importantly, the best thing about this weekend is to be ranked #1 friend by Nigel. Today's such a happy day, but the men here know it's also a sad day. The last time Nigel will ever have a chance at winning an argument. But on a serious note, let's get into how me and Nigel met. It all began in an illegal underground gambling ring. Kind of. It was 12 or so of our friends. We'd get together in our friend's basement. We'd play poker. 3 or so of our friends knew how to play poker, knew all the rules, and would take money from the other kids who didn't quite understand it, like myself. It was $20 my mom gave me to hang out with people. Shortly after, myself and Nigel realized we had a lot of things in common. Specifically, I owned an Xbox 360 with NHL 2007. And my mom always kept our refrigerator filled with Delissio pizzas. We began to hang out daily. During this time, Nigel began working at the keg. He was hired there with his brother and Rachel, who you guys saw tonight. Nigel was the salad man, working right at the front, right at the front entrance for everybody to see. If you had a salad from 2007 till 2009 from Keg Park Royal, I think we can all agree it was the greatest house green salad we've ever had. It was great that Nigel worked there. He learned a lot of life skills, specifically his cooking, time management, working in a rush. But the best thing that he ever got out of the keg was his 40% off discount. Of which I used often. I think I even took Nicole there a couple times on that discount. Petra served us. Nicole thought I was a king. As our friendship went on, I continued to abuse Nigel for his work discounts, this time at Starbucks. Here's how I benefited. Nigel would serve me a coffee in the morning. I'd go back. I would complain about the coffee. Nigel, being the good Starbucks employee he is, would reward me, or he would make up for it, with free drink coupons. But you think you buy one coffee, you get one coupon? No. Nigel gave me 20 at a time. I think I had 100 or so Frappuccinos over that summer. Nigel used these two jobs to fund a trip to Australia and Thailand. His goal was to become more cultured. He was definitely not going there to party 7 days a week. And me being the good friend that I am, I wanted to join him on this trip. I wanted to become more cultured. So about a week before he left, him working 14-hour days, 6 hours in the morning at Starbucks, 8 hours at night at Keg, I went to my bank account to see if I had enough money to travel with Nigel to Australia and Thailand. I didn't. So I went to my loan advisor, my mom. I said, Mom, can I go to Thailand and Australia with Nigel? She said no. It was the first time in our friendship that we were apart. We rarely spoke while he was gone. I think we spoke once. I think he called me one time. He was pre-drinking from his apartment in Surfers Paradise in Australia. But during that time, our friendship remained unchanged. When Nigel returned, he was a new man. He couldn't tell me much about his trip, other than he went to full moon parties, illegal Red Bull drinks, poured in kid toy buckets that they play with in the sand, and his 2 new Chinese character tattoos on the back of his calves. I still don't know what they mean. But deep down, I like to believe the left calf says Daniel, the right calf says Novak. It was a nice gesture he did after leaving me for all these months. Once he returned, we didn't miss a beat. Our friendship had now moved from mostly my mom's house to now Granville Strip and my mom's house. Sprinkling in some time for a college degree at Capilano University. Biggest scam on my resume. Thinking back to all those nights out on the town, Royal, Caprice, Tonic, after hours. We probably could have gone back to Australia 3 times over the money we spent. Twice. Thanks. Ty's the best commentator for tonight so far. I've been laughing the entire night at him. Our lives have changed a little bit since then. Myself having a beautiful wife who's embarrassed beyond all recognition right now. And 2 little girls but you guys already knew that based on my hairline. We go to bed most nights before 10 p.m., and every single day we're up before 7 a.m., including this morning. Nigel waking up at 11 a.m. Saturdays and Sundays, waiting for Melize to drive him to Jeff's house so he can go for a swim. But we still have the same friendship we've ever had. You know, not all it takes is a 5-minute FaceTime or a simple text message. You know, letter U, good. Question mark. Yep, okay. Talk to you in another week. You know, Nigel, I'll keep it close to my mouth. Nigel works hard for whatever he desires, you know, and our friendship, like I said, it only requires 5 minutes. I screwed up my speech, sorry. You can never doubt Nigel's loyalty. I should share the first time I met Melize as well. August 26, 2017. Very memorable date. Nigel told me he had a new girlfriend. We're gonna have a beautiful double date. By double date, I mean that my wife was cooking for 10 of my friends to come over to watch Conor McGregor fight Floyd Mayweather. Money fight, memorable. Everybody thought I was a good person for remembering that date. I Googled it. Nigel brought Melize. Amelia is impressed by her bubbly personality, her willingness to jump into the conversation. It's like she had known us all along. Nicole had just given birth to our first child, Kendall. She was about 4 months old at the time. Melize came in. You're clapping for that? Clap for sex. Clap for sex. We have 2 kids, so we can clap again now. Sorry, Nicole had just given birth to our first child, Kendall. She was about 4 months old. Melize came in, and she held her for almost the entire night, keeping her occupied while the rest of the guys yelled at the television about the fight. You could see the mother in her. And when she left, we could see the impact that she had on Kendall. And by impact, I mean smell. Because her perfume radiated from Kendall's skin for 5 to 7 days after she had left. Since that day, Kendall and Cameron still get excited for them both when they come over, or they run to the phone when I'm on FaceTime with Nigel and ask, where's Melize? And Melize always entertains them and asks them questions that they never answer. I'm so excited for you both in the next chapter in your life together. And with that, I'll conclude my... Everybody heard that? That's my time limit? Yeah. Time's up. Boo. I was just getting to the emotional part. People want more jokes. I'm so excited for you both to start the next chapter in your life. Sorry, Thomas, Justin, and Steve, that I have to take her to the dark side of marriage. Soon to be. I'll conclude my speech with some wise words of wisdom from the internet. Never go to bed arguing. Always stay up and argue. Best way to remember an anniversary is to forget it once. Remember these 3 words. You're right, dear. I think you got a kiss again. In times of trouble, remember women are to be loved, not to be understood. All right, this is for everybody here. A lot of couples here tonight. If all you couples here can turn, face each other, stare deeply into each other's eyes. Now, statistically speaking, you're staring at the person most likely to murder you. I still got 5 more minutes. With all that said, let's raise our glasses. Toast Nigel and Melize. Congratulations. Let's have some fun.
Thomas, excellent. I can't compete with all these people. I can't compete with all these people. But no, I have to talk to him about my daughter because actually, Ab, can you throw me my napkin? Because I'm a bit of a sap, so I've had to pay Melize her salary for 2.5 years while she's talked about this wedding to all her friends every day before COVID started and after. She said, Dad, I'm not talking about the wedding. I'm talking about business. So just shut the F up and work is getting done. So Melize, all these friends of yours, which there's about 6 quadrants of them, right? Like Melize has friends I didn't even know she had. But, you know, my daughter is like, there could be a homeless person on the street and she would have invited them to the wedding because, Dad, you need some help. And I wouldn't let her go away from picking up my little puppy last Sunday because she said, Dad, I've had my 5th stagette.
He was hungover.
And she was hungover, and I had this little puppy that we had to pick up that she said she'd help me pick up. And she said, Dad, I can't go.
Too hungover.
And I wanted to say, Melize, you don't have to go. But I needed somebody to hold the puppy because we were allowed to hold the puppy and drive at the same time. And Melize said, okay, Dad, I'll go. But just give me another hour and a half.
Bring me a Gatorade.
And bring me a Gatorade. And she showed up because that's what Melize does. She shows up. Just like her sister said, like all you people talk about Melize, and I can't say anything more because you've all said it. You know, she's had some bad lads in the past. And I don't invite, Kaylee's right, I don't invite anybody to my roast beef dinner unless they pass the test. And Thomas, I got a hair guy for you. Dan. Sorry, Dan. I got a hair guy for you. Because I lost hair too. Because I had 3 kids. Anyways, Melize has always been there for everybody. Everything. Doesn't matter who they are. So we've owned the business for like 36 years, and Melize joined the team about, 15 years ago, and, everybody in the office loves Melize. And if some employee is not worthy of the hours they want, Melize says, okay, Dad, just give it to them. I know they've caused a bit of havoc in the last couple of weeks, but come on, they have a kid, and, they have some issues, but, please, Dad, just put the number the way it's not supposed to be, but just put it the way on the timesheet. And that's Melize, because she always, like me, she always feels for the people here. Like every one of you people that have met her over her life, from the I don't know, from her teachers to anybody. They always say Melize is always caring and loving, and I think that she gets that from her mother. Her grandparents, who are not here anymore, but they all cared about people. People first, us last. Right, Melize? No. I'm just saying us, meaning Melize and me, because we care. We want you all to have a good time. This wedding is Melize's. She did all of it with her good. Ola. Ola, would you like to go somewhere in the world?
Where is Ola?
Where's Ola?
Ola!
Where's Ola? No, she can't go home. Anyways, Ola is amazing. Melize, put up with Melize for 2.5 years.
Where's Ola? Ola!
And this food is amazing. It's really good. The caterer, bang up job. And the people, the friends, my good friend Mike Nielsen, Paul Parade, all you guys that came here. I know, I've been a pain in the ass through COVID. I'm not you have to deal with your staff, your family, and all the trials and tribulations of the world. And I'm a pretty control freak, but in my own way. But I have a lovely daughter. And Nigel, I'm so happy you came around. So I'm not going to ramble because I'm not very good at it. But I really appreciate you coming into our lives, Nigel, because you're a super guy. And she's a super girl. And if you don't look after her, Evan will take care of you. Thank you. Have fun.
That was beautiful.
Here we go.
So we're gonna keep this super brief. I think a lot has been said.
We just gotta dance. We wanna dance, which I know I wanna dance,
So similar to when we drive in a car together, Melize is the first person to tell me where to go, tell me that I'm doing it incorrectly, jumping into the speech prematurely.
I'm a bit of a micromanager. A little bit.
First and foremost, just want to say a big thank you, of course, to my parents, Kim and Bill here, Jeff, Sandy. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here today, so let's give a big round of applause. And I know it's been said already, but Ola, wherever you are around here, thank you so much. You've done a wonderful job. Ty, you're not Ola, but thanks for waving.
Ola! Ola, she's right there.
Maybe that's what Jackie calls you in the bedroom late at night, but who knows?
There she is. There she is. There she is. There she is. There, Ola!
Girls, bridesmaids, you guys look stunning today. I see that Melize left all her brunette girlfriends back in Vancouver.
They're all blonde.
You do look beautiful this evening, and it's called ombre if it's 50-50, I think. And gentlemen, I love you guys. Thanks for joining me on this adventure here this week. Thanks for staying standing at this point, but from here on out, it's probably all going downhill for you. So, and thank you for everyone for joining us tonight. I know there's a few coming in from Toronto, so Mike, Kaylee, Koa, and Posey, thanks for coming out, and everyone else from Vancouver. Did you have anything else you want to say?
Oh, I know.
All I want to say is I'm so happy to have all of my favorite people here tonight. And let's cut the bullshit, and I really just want to get on that dance floor. So let's have a good time. And Kiprios is going to start it off. Let's do it.